my God.
Here we are in Boston.
Cambridge, yeah.
It's a live Jackie and Laurie show. Thank you, Josh, for bringing us here. Yay! We're here at the Sonia, next to the Middle Eastern restaurant.
Yeah, they have a great music venue.
And pretty good hummus.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
definitely.
the hummus. I'm not above it.
This is our first show on Maximum Fun.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We're on the Max Fun network.
Well, yeah, we don't normally have an audience. Usually it's you and me in my garage.
Chopped liver?
Pardon me?
No. Am I not your audience?
Oh, no, you are not at all.
Okay.
Half the time you're on your phone when I'm being funny. I have to rely on Kyle.
What were you saying? Anyway,
I know it.
But no, we're on Max Fun now, and we're supposed to talk about the shows on Max Fun that we like.
We have to do 2 ad drops. Hi, welcome to our new world.
Yeah, so I like the Emily Heller one first.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna do a quick little ad. They're gonna drop in.
No, why don't they just let this be it?
Oh, well, I don't know. They have their own rules.
Did you read the email?
I skimmed it. It was,
which is
that
more
was a
than
long
I did.
email.
It was a very long email.
But Baby Geniuses with our good friend Emily Heller, who's been a Comic of the Week and just sold something to NBC.
Right, and Lisa Hannah Walt.
Yes.
She's a
artist.
Cartoonist.
Yeah.
Lisa Hannah Walt and Emily Heller have a podcast called Baby Geniuses.
Yeah, if you like us,
Max
you'll like
Fun.
them for
yeah.
sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Totally. Yeah, you should totally check out Baby Geniuses.
Hey, if you like your podcast to be focused and well-researched and your podcast host to be uncharismatic, unhorny strangers who have no interest in horses, then this is not the podcast for you.
Again, what's your deal? I'm Emily.
I'm Lisa.
Our show's called Baby Geniuses.
And its hosts are horny adult idiots. We discover weird Wikipedia pages every episode.
We discuss institutional misogyny.
We ask each other the dumbest questions, and our listeners won't stop sending us pictures of their butts.
We haven't asked them to stop, but they also aren't stopping.
Join us on Baby Geniuses
every other week on MaximumFun.org.
Okay.
Anyway.
Now,
please talk to me about your travel situation.
Well, I can't. I don't even.
We're waiting.
I cannot get over how self-conscious I feel performing in front of people I know the backstory behind jokes that I'm telling. It's weird. I don't feel like I feel different performing in front of a pod. This is not good to say for future audiences. For the people that I know listen to the podcast know, oh, that's that joke she was working on. Oh,
they're psyched about it though because they never heard the joke.
No, but
they're psyched about it. I've had many people come up to me and say, "Oh, I was waiting for that. What the hell was that tantric sex joke going to be?" Because we don't tell the punchline. We just sort of tell what the set list name is.
I know, but I feel like part of how I've approached performing on stage my entire career is I'm a nobody, and the audience is angry that I'm there because I'm a female comic, right?
You're the most successful nobody I've ever met in my life.
But I mean, but no, we would, up until maybe recently, we'd be brought up on stage and people, they're guys.
It's a woman next, you guys.
Forced to watch a female comic. So you feel like this tide of resentment as soon as you hit the stage, but it's also, there's some freedom in the anonymity of I will be better than you think I'm going to be. And so that's always like the crouched position. Like a cat waiting
Crouching
to
tiger.
take down angry deer. And it's a little different when people are nice and friendly and you've met them before the show and you know that they know about the menstruation story or the YouTube story or I'm like, oh, they know there was 3 cops and not 2 cops. I changed it to 2 cops because 3 cops actually sounded made up. Like no one would believe that the town I live in is so boring that they'd send 3 cops to my house for my son doing a finger gun to his head.
What I have this to say is that many years ago, when people would this reminds me of when people fight over the check.
Right.
Eventually, you just have to go. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'll pay next time.
Okay.
So these are everyone who loves you. In the whole wide world.
No, I'm not.
You're not fishing.
No,
we know that.
No.
But the thing is I wish you could just go. Oh, they're psyched to hear the joke that they've heard about, and then and I know what you're saying though about jokes that you've done before,
Right.
And then you're like, oh, except for the fact is they're leaning into it, going, yeah, that's that part, and because I've seen them do it with Brian Regan, because he'll come back and do that extra 15 minutes, like he'll do the hour he's working on, the new hour that isn't recorded, and then he'll come back and ask for suggestions. He's got them trained. He's got his audience beautifully trained to not be weird and yell stuff out in the middle of his regular set. And so he'll come out afterwards and go, yell whatever weird. They're like, the kaleidoscope. I've clearly owned all of his albums. Anyway, so, but he'll know what they're talking about. And then he usually does this, he doesn't always do it, but it's a disclaimer of, it's hard because stand-up is a surprise.
But here's the thing: he's already given them a fresh hour, and it's an agreement ahead of time. And I feel like, people came
Maybe
from
next
fucking
year.
Vermont, other states. We have Canadians here. So did we. Someone crossed the border from Mexico.
We came from other. This is a caravan of humanity.
And then I'm like, oh,
you have a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
That's what it is. You feel so responsible that you wanted to give away the notebooks that aren't broken. You cannot.
Turns out they aren't. That's the way they're supposed to be, because when the elastic
when you put the elastic
band,
over it, it's centered.
It's centered. But I thought they were off center, and I'm like, we can't sell these. This is an outrage.
Because they're blank notebooks. You know that have you ever had a notebook where you couldn't use it because it was too nice? Yeah, you guys have all done it. Yeah.
No.
No?
No. I did. My parents did give me like Leaves of Gold or something where it had like a little poem on each page, and then there was gold leaf around the edges, and I was supposed to use a diary. And,
yeah.
I threw it away when I Marie Kondoed after my dad died. There was no need for it.
Right. Well, and you never used it for stand-up?
No. You just asked. That's all. I just answered the question.
But the thing is, so you have, because that was too fine to write your weird first draft of a dick joke.
Oh, all right.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I guess so.
And so and the tote bags work, and we gave away all the posters that I had left over, and there's stickers and...
Well, I'm sure the Max Fun audience is riveted by our inventory breakdown right now. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thanks for listening. And
anyway, oh my God.
So
now,
today's travel extravaganza.
Yeah, so yesterday, I took a red eye, right? This is my second weekend of red eyes. So I'm so fucked up sleep-wise. It's unbelievable. So as I'm driving to the airport last night, I get a text from JetBlue. My flight back on Sunday's canceled. And I go on the JetBlue app, and they're all canceled. And so I'm like, oh, fuck. I have to get home on Sunday.
Right.
Because
you have a life to lead.
Well, it's bigger than that, because our new shows start, the half-hour Conan, they start on Tuesday. And Monday's the last day of rehearsal of everything that we've been working on.
Right.
And, so to be gone on Monday is not good.
Right.
Like, I could be gone on other Mondays, but please, God, not this Monday, okay?
Right.
It's just not, it's not good. And so... I bought, as I was driving I was getting lifted, I bought a ticket from JFK tomorrow. And I'm like, I just got to figure out how to get to JFK from Boston. And then when I get to JetBlue, I get to the ticket, before I get on the plane, I go up to the ticket, the gate agent, whatever. And I said, my flight tomorrow's been canceled. Can you get me on something else? So he got me on a 3 p.m. leaving on Monday, which is not good. But if I have no other options, I have that. But I also bought this JFK one, like full price yesterday, because I can't miss work.
Right.
And now I'm like, okay, I just got to get to JFK. So I was going to rent a car, but I lost my driver's license a couple months ago. And of course you can't rent a car with a passport.
Nope.
No. So now I'm going on Amtrak tomorrow morning at 6:40 in the morning. I know, it's awful. Oh my God, this is the most expensive gig I've ever participated in. Plus I paid for 2 hotels on Hotels.com because I didn't realize they were non-refundable. You know how you're like, yeah, that's a good reservation, click.
No,
and then,
nobody else does that.
Yeah. Oh, they do. People have contacted me since I tweeted about it. Hotels.com is very deceptive, okay? They're like, you pay now or pay at the hotel. So it seems like it's one of those, you just make a reservation.
Line. Yeah.
Because when you and I, you were saying, you had just gotten whichever hotel you're at right now. I'm not going to say I don't want these people coming to, make love to you.
Tab A, slot A.
So then but somehow I had just had Sketchfest in my head, so I had the Sketchfest dates in my head, which are next weekend. So I immediately make a reservation for a hotel here in Boston for next weekend.
Right.
Then I go, oh, fuck. So I cancel that reservation. Well, they just charged me $350. Then I make it for the hotel you told me you're at this weekend. And then I realize later, so then I have 2 hotels next weekend that I paid for.
And then you decided to ignore me going, give me those 2 reservations. I will save one of them for you. And you're like, no, I can't think about it. I can't think about it.
You can't save one of them for me. What do you mean?
I'm Elliot Cation's daughter. I can do whatever I want. The next time we have, I was telling what I was telling her is that we have to figure out. We have to streamline some of this because we have to figure out because San Francisco is next weekend and New York is next month,
right?
And those are more simplistic because one's a comedy festival; they provide hotels for us.
Yeah.
The other one, you live there.
Yeah.
And so it's fine. But and I told you that Maria told me to tell you and anybody else who's willing to listen.
This hurts.
Maria last year made a $6,000 hotel error in London and could not get the money back.
Oh my God.
Because guess what? I said, well, just give me the information and she was like, no, it's impossible to fix it. And I was like, well, if you don't let me try, I can't do it for you. Why don't you light a pile of money on fire and then
that's what I feel like I did.
Well, why don't you take a video of it and send it to my dad? Because I could have fixed it.
That was hostile.
It is hostile because there's nothing that drives me nuts more than waste. Because
me too.
I could have fixed at least one of them.
Okay,
so,
guess what? I still have the information. You put your money where your proud mouth is and give me my $600 back.
No, I can't get your $600. What I could have done easily, that'll be harder now. I can try, but what I could have done was I could have gotten them to change the dates. And I can tell you how to do it.
They won't. I tried.
No, I know you tried. But how did you try?
I asked.
No, so you called the hotel?
No, I called hotels.com.
No. So you called the hotel.
The hotel said
you had to call hotels.com.
Yes.
So you called hotels.com.
Oh my God. Yes.
Right. So that's what you do initially. Because the thing is I'm willing to go through the regular channels. When the regular channels don't work, you call the hotel. And then you tell the hotel, I've made an error. I still need 2 nights of hotel. Hotels.com will not switch this for me. And someone says, I actually can't do that. And you say, all right, well, is there anyone there who could do that? And they say, maybe. And then they send you to that person. If they say, no, it cannot be done. It cannot be done. You wait 4 hours and the shift change. And you call the next person who works on that. And then you do it until somebody says yes. So it's not intuitive. It's not nobody knows this. You have to be carefully taught to be a horror on customer service people. And I'm sorry, but the thing is it's not like they wouldn't have gotten their $350. You just needed to switch the damn dates. They would have eventually folded.
Okay. I disagree completely. I was on hold, and I can't keep calling every 4 hours.
Right, I said I would do it. But next time, we're in this together, is what I'm saying. You can use these skills. Did I not buy a bra that you recommended?
Yes, you did. We wear the same exact bra.
Yes, and so not at this time. I'm wearing a different bra, you guys. But the code. No, anyway. So they advertise on the door for us. Anyway, but the thing is that was a skill that you had, and I took advantage of it.
Okay,
right.
Well, a skill I had. I found a bra. That's not a skill. Oh, sorry.
You are right. But how great is that bra? That's a great bra.
It is, yeah.
And how unhappy was I with the current bra that I was wearing? What I'm saying is that this was a real boon.
Well,
and so we can share our pool our knowledge is what I'm saying.
I'm still devastated.
Well, you should be because
the new airfare for tomorrow is like close to $600, and I was forced to buy an extra space seat because that's all they have, so that's an extra $100, and then then it's $81 on Amtrak.
So did you want to hear that my Delta flight isn't canceled?
Oh, yeah, you're a real asshole. I don't know why Delta isn't canceling their flights tomorrow.
Because they're a real airline.
Oh, my God.
They're not a hobby airline like JetBlue.
Wow.
You remember on our text thread when you were like, you people all love Delta? You wrote that on a big text thread. And I was like, yeah, because they're real. Because they have access to, I don't know, a better wind.
JetBlue has Cheez-Its and blue potato chips.
They asked me if I wanted the beef bourguignon. I got bumped up to first class tomorrow.
I don't understand how your flight's taking off tomorrow and all of my possibilities were canceled.
I don't
get
either.
it.
Well, and the thing is they may cancel it last minute. So, but they
put
don't,
me in a
they don't cancel
position
it.
that I have to hope your flight gets canceled. I don't want to be there.
What just happened there? That just feels like I got stabbed in the neck. Anyway, no, it's it seems it doesn't. I would actually be sad if I didn't make it, but not as sad as you.
No. I will make it. It's just going to be an awful 4 hours on a train and then 5 hours on a plane.
It's a John Candy like moment.
Yes. So I had a set at the Laugh Factory last week, right?
Okay.
And I don't feel, again, there you are on your phone. What?
I'm just checking the time.
We're supposed to ask Kyle.
But Kyle's not here. Ian is.
He'll tell us.
All right. Hi, Ian.
Okay.
I'm being micromanaged. Anyway, go ahead.
So I'm at the Laugh Factory,
right.
And it's a late show Wednesday.
Where'd you park?
I valeted.
Good.
Do you valet?
I never do because I didn't know they had valet.
Oh,
I wouldn't do the Laugh Factory on a dare unless they had valet.
You didn't want to know where I parked. You wanted to point out that you don't work at the Laugh Factory.
I've been offered sets at the Laugh Factory, but no valet parking.
Well, I pay for it.
They don't pay for the valet?
They lower the price. It's half price for comics.
Thumbs down.
I know.
Anyway, go ahead.
So there's a comic there. Guess what? You guys get a name. Hold on.
There you go.
This guy, and you can't. He's kind of
famous.
Well, no, but I mean, people could find out who he is. He's not just someone from our past. So you can't say who this is. Okay, it's a secret.
That guy. He's a piece of work, you guys. Pass it around. Enjoy the live
this is a trust
experience.
Thing. Okay?
You guys,
because
it is a trust thing.
Once he DM'd me in the middle of the night, and he's like, I'm at a club and I'm bad. And I'm like, I don't know you that well, but I said, hey, hang in there, comedies, whatever. I'm like, I'm going to sleep.
Oh my God, how often are you treated like the fucking den mother?
I feel like they think of me as their grandmother that they need to talk to.
It's that den mother bullshit. And you're like, hey, I am not your aunt.
Okay.
I am not, anyway.
Right. So he comes up to me after my set and he goes, good set, whatever. And he goes, I was on the first show. I hung out to watch you. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And I was kind of remembering his name, but he got a haircut, so I wasn't all on the name. I'm like, it's going to come to me. But I wanted to get out because I knew my son would be waiting for me to come home. So
the way you organize it, you're just like, I got to get in, get the set, go,
get the fuck out, right? So I was trying to leave, but he hung out. Okay, so and maybe that wasn't the reason, but fine. I accepted that as true. I wanted to believe it. So then he starts talking about comedy, and it's not a good feeling. I can't hear him. He's mumbling a little bit. I'm like, oh, is he drunk or high? I can't really tell, but he's not. Nothing's completely. It's not 100%
mumbled,
balanced, right? Okay. Yeah. So and the show's happening. Somebody else is on stage. So I said, let's go over here to this corner so we're not disrupting the next comic set. And so then he starts talking about comedy and how it's not going well and people don't take him seriously. And then I tried to be. This isn't a conversation I want to have with someone whose name I can't remember, but I was like, comedy's tough. Sometimes, whatever experience you tell me you have as a comic, I can identify with because I've been doing it so long. So I was like, we all go through phases like that. You're really funny. I remember that he was funny. I just can't remember his name. And then he said his name in the third person and said, let's say his name is,
Elvis Costello.
Elvis Costello's killing. He's doing great. I'm like, oh yeah, that's your name. Maybe that is helpful. Narcissists should talk about themselves in the third person to help us remember their names.
And you hadn't seen him in probably 2 years?
Many years, right. And then he goes, but what do you know? You're just some old lady comedy chick. You're not plugged into... And I was like, what? Excuse me? And then
You're not plugged into what?
I don't know. After Old Lady Comedy Chick, my ears folded over the opening so that I couldn't hear
Just
anymore.
red dots in front of your face?
Yes. And I was like, I don't owe this guy anything, and I have to read to my kids. So I said, hey, it's great talking to you. I got to take off, and I just left.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
Old Lady Comedy Chick.
Great.
After compliments, like
After
this is
you tried to
literally
talk him down.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Like he was angry that I tried to be sympathetic or something. I'm not really sure, and he was chemically altered, I feel, in a way. But I will never forget it. I'm sort of glad it happened because I like to have something to resent, and I like to have something on somebody. So the fact that I can be angry at him for the rest of his career.
That is
makes
nice.
me happy.
He'll probably be very successul because he refers to himself in the third person.
Yeah, that seems to work.
Yeah, it's great. That and his own limo. I looked him up because I had not heard of him, and then I watched a little bit of his stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, and the other thing, I thought, maybe he's from San Francisco, so he feels like a lot of the younger San Francisco comics,
like the younger Minneapolis comics.
Yeah, you're our ancestor, so we're related to you. And but he's from San Antonio, which is where my ex is from. And I'm like, what if I have this reputation of collecting stray features from San Antonio, and they feel they can say this shit to me or something? I'm not really sure.
I'm treated as the shadow of the Colossus. They just sort of wander around me.
Is that a mythical reference? I don't understand.
It's a video game from...
Oh, my God.
Who has jokes about Fortnite? This one, right here.
I'm forced into it against my will, trust me.
Well...
and then...
I wish I had a Fortnite
Louis
joke.
was in... at the San Jose Improv. The article about his
Do you want to change the name of the show to the Louis C.K. What's he doing this week?
It's
anyway.
What makes me angry is they interviewed audience members after the show, and they said, well, was there any material you found offensive? And somebody had said, Louis made a dead baby joke. And so this is like so heartbreaking. Well, my baby died, so I didn't find that funny. But I'm like, what?
That was the line?
Something like that.
Yeah.
He had said that his baby died, so he didn't find that joke as funny as the others. But he didn't hold Louis responsible. But just the entire fact that reporters and people are now going, that joke offended me, possibly could have offended me because my experience, that's going to ruin it for the rest of us, I think. You don't think so?
No, I think that it'll ruin it for buzzkills for what I love about comedy audiences is that they do no research. They come into the room and it can be anybody. I've said it before. It can be wiggly, shouty. It can be one-liner, intellectual, and they will sit there relatively open-minded going, well, I didn't know what this was going to be. That's all right. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I don't like that one.
Yes.
Oh, that was funny. And it's kind of
on a showcase show, when there's like 10 comics.
On the road.
Sometimes, they do.
They want Friday night in the mall. Holy shit! The jackasses just wander in and stare at you and go, "Well, who said the woman could talk?"
I had people in the front row at Rosemont who'd watched my Conan set telling my joke to me because I forgot it.
Well, that's because you're famous.
No, I'm not. But I'm saying I don't know. I am against empowering the audience about material. Like, to me, no offense, all you get to do is laugh or not laugh. And if we hear not laugh, then we start scrambling and trying to figure shit out. And if we hear a laugh, we're like, good.
The micromanaging of the audience at that level will not help. It will, if you're like, one person doesn't like that joke because they had a sunflower and it wilted and you just made fun of sunflowers.
Right.
That will not aid any stand-up comedy at all.
Mm-hmm.
But the crazy thing about that Louis C.K. article that drove me nuts is that 3 different people fucking sent it to me, and I sent back to them, why don't you get a male comic to read it and tell you what it says? Because I'm not going to they only have been asking women comics. Nobody's asking Ryan Hamilton what he thinks about Louis C.K. or Bill Burr or,
Right.
I mean, there's people who've piped up out of, without being barely asked at all, but like Doug Stanhope and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And that guy Aaron Berg from
Aaron Berg, yes,
from New York.
Yeah.
So those guys are all like, Louis the best. It doesn't matter. He can jerk off in front of me, and you're like, he doesn't want to. He wants to block some 25-year-old woman from leaving the room. He doesn't want a 42-year-old aging Jewish comic.
I don't think you've exactly articulated everyone's views.
No, I think I summed it up. Don't you think?
I think you may. You may have lost some nuances and subtlety.
Right, but what I don't want is I don't want to be asked to read another article about it.
Oh, sure.
And I don't want to have to weigh in again because, I mean, that 40 minutes, it was clearly stuff he was working on, right?
Yeah. I mean, here, it's just, it's weird what's happening with stand-up. It's weird, like a guy got punched outside the comedy club. Because a protester got punched by a pro-Louis. Like the fact that there's pro and anti-comedy fans and they're fist fighting each other is just bizarre to me.
Well, somebody said that now Louis C.K. is going to be this alt-right comic.
Maybe.
And I don't know what that...
I doubt it.
That's never been very successful. I can't imagine. Yeah. Like, I think he just wants to do stand-up. He's just a comic who with a very serious problem, but he's just a comic in the end.
He's a sex deviant and a stand-up.
Right, which is a common, not
it's
common,
way more
but
common than we think.
It's more common. And what I did get was I got some shit on Twitter. Some guy said, well, you knew about this for years. And I was like, I don't think you know me at all because I barely know what I'm doing right now. If there's a comic doing something creepy around me, I'm out. I'm not paying attention, and I mean I should be paying attention. I should be getting in the way of shitty behavior, but I'm not doing. It's not what I'm. It's mostly I do like you do your set. Mm-hmm. You've orchestrated it so that you're like, I can get home and put my kid to bed. Mm-hmm. And what I've done is I've orchestrated it so that then I can either go do another set or I can go home. Because I'm not going to stay and party. And but that used to be the thing I did.
Also, I think at a certain age, when comics need to be hanging out with each other, you need to get seen by the club. You need people to know you're serious about comedy. I mean, I used to remember people moving to New York and no one would give them spots for like 6 months because it's like, are you going to leave? Like it's almost investing in a comic, and you have to prove.
Well, isn't that Punchline in San Francisco? Don't you have to hang out for a year?
Yes,
before you can get up at the open mic.
I think so. Yeah, it's a showcase. It's not an open mic. Yeah,
the Sunday night is that showcase?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
but so it's good also for young comics to your friends that you're hanging out with are the people that are going to give you work. You guys are going to help each other way more than anybody else will.
Right.
So it's good for comics at a certain level to keep hanging out. And you and I, when we hang out, it's because we see someone we haven't seen in 20 years.
Right.
We want to catch up. It's not the same.
We've hung out.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
But I mean, there is a reason. I mean, when you first start, I mean, that's the biggest thing. And when you move to a new town.
Yeah.
Like when I moved from Minneapolis to Los Angeles, I knew a bunch of comics who were like, I can't believe I got to hang out and try to get onto this open mic.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's Largo. That isn't an open mic. That's a seriously hard to get booked on showcase night.
Yeah.
And they're like, but it doesn't pay. And I'm like, but there's Lauren Green is right there. And I mean, you
Lauren Green from that
cowboy show.
From the cowboy show.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing opportunities comedians had in the 90s.
Did I tell you how long I've been doing stand-up comedy?
You can perform for the Alpo guy. Oh, my goodness.
This was in 1967. I don't know if you remember this. It was the Ted Offensive.
Lauren Green. Who did you mean to say? I'm dying to know. Lauren Michaels?
Yeah.
No, but he wasn't at Largo. He's in New York.
One time he was at Largo.
Okay, all right. Wow.
Well, that's the only reason I thought of him, and obviously thought poorly of him, or thought the wrong name, because I don't know. But it's a fun game, you guys. It could be a drinking game. Don't forget to tip the waitstaff.
Listen.
Every time I get a name wrong, mention a band.
I did 3 sets on one night in LA last week. I know
you were.
Oh my God!
I followed that.
So my first set was at the lab, at the improv lab, and it started at 8. And usually we get out like 6:37 at the latest. And because we're starting the new show, everyone's a little bit. It's weird there's a lot of work going behind the opening 4 minutes that the host has. You would not believe it. But it's like working out for a late night set. You're just trying every single thing.
He wants it to be good, and it's a new
he wants to be perfect.
Thing, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And it's a different feel. The audience is really close, and there's less time to do a monologue, and maybe whatever.
I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to see it. Yeah. So anyway, we're all it's kind of like all hands on deck, and so we just went really late, and I left Warner Brothers at like 7:45 and was texting on Barham while I'm waiting at a stoplight. I'm almost there, please, because I got them to put me up first, and so I got there a little bit late. I valeted the car, and then I took a Lift to my next gig at
oh my God, how New York in
Silver Lake, because I didn't think I had time to get the car and drive over, and then took a Lift back to then I took the Lift to my house, put my kid to bed, because then my next spot wasn't until 11:15, and then
there you go. Then you can drive.
Then I took a Lift back to the Improv and did my last spot, and then got the car.
You did that?
Yeah. So that night cost me like $50.
Right, you're just lighting $1,000 on You're like, I love comedy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Hey, we should do Comic of the Week, because it is. We're at 30 minutes. There was a flash from Rachel.
Yes, you said her name correctly, and I said it incorrectly.
Yeah, Zainab.
No, Zainab. Zainab Johnson.
Zainab.
Zainab.
No, it will be, right.
Do you hit the nab or the zay?
Zainab. Yeah, Zainab Johnson.
Zainab Johnson,
because she said it 3 times in her Seth Meyers set, and I was like, "Oh, good, she said it," and now I've fucked it up anyway. But that was a great set.
She's very, very funny.
She's a New York comic.
No, I see her in LA a lot.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, so Zainab Johnson, Zainab Johnson. And that's her Twitter handle, and it was a really funny set, and she seems like a great comic. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I've probably met her and Lauren Green hanging out doing the thing.
People are suggesting Comics of the Week to us that have way more TV credits than we do now at this point.
I know, which
makes me slightly angry.
Hey, there's a band.
I
know. But the crazy thing is I think we should do something, because some people haven't heard of the women that we do love.
Yeah, that's true.
That are pretty popular.
No, but I'm saying, aren't you jealous at all? Like another comic was recommended to us, and then like, she's done this, she has a half hour. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't have a half hour on Comedy Central. I never did.
I know.
But I don't want to be that person. But that person exists in me. I am that person.
Right.
I need that paper back, people. You guys can't keep that paper with his name. We need it back. That is important property.
That is very... Hey, let's do the second Max FunCon.
Oh, cool. Okay, thank you.
Max Fun plug. Max Fun is the podcast network that we are on, and we would like to plug another podcast.
Yes.
Yay.
Adam Ruins Everything.
Adam Ruin...
Yeah, it's a show on True TV, and he just started doing a podcast version for Max Fun. And I've watched the show a couple times. It's great. He gets really in-depth with stuff, and they do sketches and stuff. But also... there was this Writers Guild meeting for late night writers, and he was the only one that was an on-air personality that showed up for this guild meeting. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm like, he didn't have to do that. That's nice.
Right, that's a guy giving 110%. Good for him.
110, yes.
Adam Ruins Everything.
Yes.
All right, I'll try that.
Okay.
All right.
Hey guys, this is Adam Conover. You may know me from my True TV show, Adam Ruins Everything. Well, guess what? Now we're doing a podcast version right here on Maximum Fun. What we do is we take all the interesting, fascinating experts that we talk to for just a couple minutes on the show, and we sit with them for an entire podcast, really going deep and getting into the fascinating details of their work. Find Adam Ruins Everything wherever you get your podcasts or at MaximumFun.org.
This isn't as seamless as I thought it would be. What?
I went on the road with
Yes.
Maria Bamford, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And we flew into Newark and then did a show in Newark and then had to drive to the bowels of Long Island. Did you know that Long Island is rural?
Yeah.
It's rural.
Yeah. That's where
And-
Governors is.
Right, and I remembered from when Governors, because remember I kept saying when I did Governors that the highway system was clearly invented by someone who was running away from someone. Because I'm trying to lose
they were
somebody.
fleeing?
Yeah, they were clearly, it was like, I think I lost him. In the 13 highways that you keep switting. And,
Oh, yeah.
and-
Yeah.
I tried that joke in Long Island. Nobody cared.
They
Absolutely no one
probably
cared.
all take the train all the time.
But it was because I had to figure out how to get from, well, we flew into Newark and then there was some talk of us just taking a lift to Long Island.
Oh, my God.
I know. And I was like, well, that seems cruel to both of us. Like hundreds of dollars later, and that person has to get back.
Right.
And I don't know how they get back. And so then I looked into a limo service. I thought, well, I'm on the road with Maria. Maybe she would want to take a limo. She doesn't. She would like to rent a car like a person for $27 a day. And
So you guys have your driver's licenses, is what you're telling me?
she did not have her driver's license. She lost it.
It's fucking ridiculous to try to get a new driver's license.
My sister also lost her driver's license.
The appointments are like 4 months in advance, and then it's in the middle of the workday, and you forget. I mean,
in California, you can do it online. They'll send you the same picture.
No, you have to get a new clear ID, and you have to go back in.
Oh, because they changed the IDs?
Yeah.
Because of the new national ID card?
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that.
Did you guys know we have a national ID card now? Boo! Yeah, that's right. That's not the America I grew up in. The America I grew up in only had 280 million people in it.
And half of them were hitchhiker murderers. Like serial killers who killed hitchhikers, yes.
Nope. Did you ever hitchhike?
No. Did you?
I hitchhiked once when I was very little because I had heard of it.
What do you mean little?
4.
What?
I was 4. Maybe I might have been 5. I was 4 or 5 years old.
Oh my God.
I know. I wanted to go to the pool and in South Milwaukee, and
you know how many times I want to go to a pool and I've never hitchhiked to a pool?
all you do is put the thumb out. And then, and then your brother Terry's friend stops and says, "Aren't you Terry Cation's little sister?" And I said, "I am." And he goes, "Where are you going?" And because Terry was 14, and this guy was 16, and he had a driver's license. And he said, "I think Terry's at the pool." And I was like, "Yeah, I want to go to the pool." And he goes, "All right, get in the car." And he drove me to the pool. And then Terry wasn't at the pool, so I walked home.
Oh, that's a shocking tale of neglect.
It's it is some neglect. It was I think I always thought of it as freedom. My siblings, looking back, it is neglect. But then my brother Phil hitchhiked for years. He loved it. He would go hitchhiking. One of my favorite stories of his is he would say, sometimes I look back and I would get picked up, a woman would pick me up, and I realized like 12 years later, I think she wanted to have sex. And I was like, that sounds like a Cation move right there, not knowing what was happening.
Do you have crimes from your childhood you remember that keep you from doing that activity? Because I remember this when hitchhiking in Northern California. This guy, his name was Lawrence Singleton, and he picked up a girl named Mary, and he cut her arms off at the elbow. Does anyone remember that one? They made a Lifetime TV movie out of it. Horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like a van. It was everything you've ever thought a murderer would be.
The guy was a hack, is what you're telling me. It was just a hack.
And he hacked. So
And he
yes.
hacked at people, yes.
Yeah. So
And
no, I never
you-
hitchhiked.
Oh, so that's what made you not hitchhike?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
An armless girl, that'll do it to you.
A true crime story made you not do something.
Yes.
I don't think there were any true crime stories when I was a kid. I mean, there were. I mean, obviously, but we never got into it. We were busy watching Doctor Who.
I'm slowly reading Michelle McNamara's book.
Oh yeah, true crime.
My God! But it all those crimes took place near where I grew up, and it's
minute.
horrifying. No, they caught him,
some
Jackie.
of them. Right. Well, and it's actually very sad for many reasons because Michelle McNamara was. Did you ever get to meet her?
I met her once at Meltdown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's done a
very
couple
nice.
episodes of The Dork Forest.
Yeah.
That if you end up liking that book, she was fucking
It's a great
hilarious.
book, but it just has me jumping out of my skin.
Right.
Like the Walnut Creek house, the houses they're talking about. Like I know those houses.
You know those houses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't grow up.
Bay Area, you guys.
I didn't grow up in those houses, but I was aware of them.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right. The only thing that happened in Milwaukee, well, there was a lot of talk of Jeffrey Dahmer when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I knew that I didn't want to get skinned and made into a lampshade. But there was no way to prevent that.
Well, and again,
That actually does sound. How could you have prevented being stolen away by all of Jeffrey Dahmer?
but you were not his type.
I don't know. We don't know that.
No, we do. We actually knew.
Do we know what his
Yes.
type was?
Yes.
Who knows what was
gay
Jeffrey-
teenagers?
No, that was Jeff. Oh, that was Jeffrey Dahmer.
Who
Did I
are you
just
thinking
say?
of? Lauren Green right now?
Ed Gein.
Oh,
Ed
Ed Gein. Oh, that guy, the lampshade guy.
Yeah, Ed Gein's the
Oh, he would have
lampshade
loved
guy.
your skin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You would have made some fine furniture.
Names aren't my strong suit this episode. Oh my God. Yeah, so I have clearly, my sets have actually, they were fine. Everyone was perfectly nice. And last night, actually, we were in New Jersey. Newark
You went
the first
New Jersey,
night.
Long Island, New Jersey.
No, it was New Jersey, Long Island. So last night we were in Long Island.
Right.
And it was one of those, it was like this, but like 4 times the size of it, same ceiling, maybe higher ceiling because it was echoey. Mm-hmm. Like this looks like the Sonia here. It looks like an amazing venue for a band.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? This looked like the place it looked like it was a little too big for a band. I mean, it would probably be fine if there were, 1,200 people like moshing.
Right.
Because it would have deadened the sound. I don't know. But it was echoey because it was just stand-up, right? It was just hundreds of people seated, right?
Oh, but wouldn't it be great if they started moshing during your set?
They were so nice. They were incredibly nice people, but I could not tell. You know when you do a set and you can't hear
Yes.
them?
Right.
And so you're like, they look like they're having fun, but this is... You just end up staring at them a little too intently, and then afterwards, I was like, I don't even know if I want to do it. And Maria came out and she was like, I don't know if I want to do a meet and greet. And I said, no, because I was watching.
She
her.
has to, right? Almost,
she
right?
doesn't.
Oh, she doesn't?
No, she
But
doesn't have
people
to.
want to connect with her so intensely. Is that why she?
No, sometimes
want
she
to?
sometimes she's exhausted and cannot.
Right.
Because she's on Seroquel.
Yeah.
And and then the other that's a joke of hers. Okay.
I didn't know.
yeah.
What's Seroquel?
It's obviously some sort of antipsychotic that makes you sleepy time.
Oh, okay.
And but
I like that her audience. You don't have to explain it; they're all like on board with that punch word.
Oh my God! Somebody
Seroquel.
today literally tweeted back at her and said, "I love a shout out to Seroquel." It made me laugh. But sometimes she doesn't come out but if she's tired, if she isn't tired, and especially if it's one show, she wants to totally meet people and everybody. But she was like, "Do you think it went well enough? Do they even want me to come out?" And I was like, "She completely murdered, but she couldn't tell because it all went up into the sky. All the laughs went up into the ceiling."
Do you know there's probably a lot of comics that are bombing every night, but they're telling themselves the laughs are going up to the ceiling.
You're not wrong. This is not the case.
What's the laughs? At Flappers, they go right into the other comic's face, but when I'm at Flappers, they go right up to the ceiling. That's That's not fair. Why does that always happen to me?
Right, when I'm in that. Yeah, it's comics who lie to themselves are some of the most fascinating comics. There was a guy back in the 90s who did stand up for probably 17 years and was never funny. Right. And literally time after time after time after time would get sort of a polite chuckle, a supportive, and he thought he was murdering. And there was no way to tell him any differently. And Dave Mordahl confronted him. Did I tell you tell you the story? But you
can't confront someone who thinks they're killing and they're not.
Right, because it doesn't have it. First of all, it's not going to help. Second of all, it's none of your damn business, Dave Mordahl, except for it was his show that this guy asked.
Oh my God. Well, I'm saying you can't. It's not going to work. They're not going to believe you. If they don't believe 17 years of audiences not laughing at them, they're not going to believe you.
Guess what happened? So Dave goes up to him and says, "You have to stop."
Stop comedy?
Yeah. You've never been funny. It's not getting any better. If you were 3 years in, I'd be saying, go for it. But we are 17 years in, and I've never seen you get a laugh. And the guy was like, well, thanks for the feedback. And get this, came back the next night for a guest set.
Oh my God! If we had 1% of those balls, oh my God!
I know. It was gutsy stuff. But he also had a day job forever because he couldn't get to the next rung because people wouldn't book him. But I have seen people that are hilarious not get to the next rung. So I don't know what makes the next rung work.
Oh, I don't know either.
How I got
mystery.
to the next rung because I kept my day job for much too long, according to some comics who were like, you gotta quit. And I was like, I like to pay my bills. And I was like, and plus I had very flexible day jobs for a long time. So, but I, like, there's a guy that I still hang out with that I love dearly who could not buy a break. There's any number of great comics who couldn't buy a break. And I wish they would, like, I don't know if they just never were MC material to work their way up to middle and feature to headliner. I don't know how to make it work.
What if you're 20 years in and you're only doing okay? And so what do you do? I mean, what if you're funny but you're not? You're like, I'm close. That's how I felt I was like close to 40. You know, right before I got pregnant. I'm like, where am I going? You know, I'm working for a website right now and doing stand up, and I don't see anything happening. And then that's when I got pregnant. I was like, what the fuck?
Wow, you and my niece.
What the fuck?
She was 23.
But then everything got better after that. Like it focused me or something. So have a child is what I'm telling any failing comedian who can't pay their bills. Have a child.
What you do is you have what it's going to be is 18 years of material, you guys. So that's what you want to have. And so yeah, I mean, the thing is there's other ways to shake. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's a better example would be to shake up your life in some other way, but right. Maybe changing the direction of something will make you leap to the next level. Because we were also talking about, you were talking about that woman who quit stand-up and you couldn't.
You got mad at me. You said I shamed her. I didn't mean to. Someone had posted on Facebook, a friend of ours, a former comic, about her current day job, and I was just like, this fucking sucks that she has this job, and she should be out there. She was a murderer in the 90s. She really did kill.
She was a great comic.
Yeah. And she's not a stand-up at all anymore.
No, she isn't. And I know any number of women who stopped doing stand-up for a number of reasons. Not all because we've talked about that before, is when women have kids, even if they're comics, they stop doing it. And for some reason, male comics do not. I'm not. It's not some reason. It's the reason we all know. Okay, so, but it's, but I think like there's women comics that I know. There's several that just couldn't, and I know dude comics too who just couldn't take the grind.
Right.
And I know that the grind is different for women and can be harder.
It's way harder.
Yes,
especially when she was doing it.
She was doing it when we were doing it.
It was mostly condos, mostly staying with new dudes every week. And it was just, it was
we did it.
Kind of loneliness that is...
It's brutal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's brutal, and you can get a drinking problem. You can get an STD. You can do any number of things to brighten up those days.
A little herpes to keep me company during my week, my triple run.
But but what I do think is that is that we have to just. I just want to be supportive, you know? Like one of my best friends, she couldn't face the grind anymore, and so she got a job working in a hospital as an administrative assistant. And I was like, oh, you're not, why aren't, I mean, I didn't get in her face about it, but I was like, oh, you're so fucking funny. Why aren't you doing stand-up still? And she's like, I'm just tired. I'm tired of not making the next.
Yeah.
Like, and she got good pub. She ended up having, but she stopped doing stand-up for like 3 or 4 years, and now she's back kind of, it's so hard to get back into it.
It's really hard.
And so, but she stopped doing it because the grind was so hard. The same is true of any number of dudes who stopped doing it. Dave Mordahl tells me that he doesn't do stand-up anymore. And I'm like, man, you're so fucking funny.
You know,
like,
he was
sleepy.
He was the DJ. He was doing the morning radio show that I was on in Minneapolis, and I didn't know that was him, and he didn't say it was him.
Well,
they were like, that's Dave. And I'm like, hey, Dave. And I figured, okay, that's the guy I'm, dealing with. What are you writing?
So I'm writing down the name of the woman who she like won contests and stuff.
Yeah.
And has stopped doing stand-up.
Oh, she did? No. I thought she was just working. I thought she was
She's
working
back
in
doing it
Vegas
as a hobby. It's hobby comedy.
She's really good.
She's so good. But the thing is you can't make somebody do stand-up as much as we would like. That's what this show is. You're
she was doing a lot of road work, right?
She used to do a lot of road work.
But did she ever move to L.A. or New York?
She did. She was here, or she was in L.A. and had like a TV deal and everything.
I know, but that's not moving to L.A.
Oh,
that's
I'm
like
sorry.
Having a
No,
deal.
she did not move. She had kids, and then one of her kids moved to L.A., and so she could have moved then, but she chose not to.
Every kid wants their mom to follow them to Los Angeles.
Where's that sitcom?
Wow, I didn't know. I didn't know that.
She's a wonderful comic, and but she doesn't have to, right? And that's why I don't say her name, because I don't want to shame her.
No.
Yeah,
it's and she might go insane and come back, and then no one needs to know. Here's the thing,
she might get rebit by the comedy bug.
Some people quit and you have no idea because you just haven't seen them in 20 years, and that happens with a lot of people that are still in it. So
right, when you don't see somebody and you're like,
if you quit,
are you still doing it?
Never say you quit.
Right, and then when you're
assume you moved to the opposite coast.
Or you decided to just do the southern run.
Yeah,
and
you got lost in the South.
No, I've been lost in the South, and because then you might still get work. Remember, Henny Youngman was in the white pages until his death. If you wanted to book Henny Youngman, you could just call him.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, I'm always looking for work." Somebody asked why he didn't have an unlisted number.
You could pick up the phone and call a guy with an 11-inch cock. You know that's the truth about him, right? Did you ever hear that?
No, I did not.
Gigantic penis.
What rumor mill was this created on?
It's well known, but you don't know any rumors. Well,
it's true.
It's well known that Henny Youngman was blessed, and he had a giant penis.
Like Angela. And I'm going to get the name wrong, so I can't even say
That's why his name was in the phone book, so women could call him.
Yes, that's why.
He wasn't looking for work.
Right, because he had an agent. And but he did not have a lot of pussy, so is what you're telling me. I said the word pussy.
It's
weird. It's a weird word.
It's becoming did you watch that Cardi B video? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it was great. She was just talking about the shutdown and Trump, and she's like, and there was a shutdown before, but it was for healthcare, so you can go check up on your pussy. And it was like, yes. And
right. That's right.
but I
she
mean,
did
it's
say
becoming
pussy.
a word, like, you can tell a generation immediately. Like, you and I are like, "Gee," and then there's other generation of comics that are very comfortable with it.
Very comfortable. It's like, and the even younger ones like cunt. It goes cunt, pussy, bitch, and then us going, oh, you're an asshole. And so...
I mean, it's just a descriptor. And it used to be like a punchline, but now it's like, it's in the setup. Oh,
Right.
my pussy, da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, it's in the setup.
It's in the setup. It's different now.
That might be the name of the show.
Pussy in the setup.
Yeah, when pussy is in the setup.
Hi, welcome, Max Fun.
We're a clean show. And,
Seriously, though, how much time have we done?
I don't know. Where are we at? Kyle.
There's no Kyle.
Ian? There's Ian. We're at,
Oh, my God.
We have
7
another
more
7
minutes.
Well, is there anything they've wanted to know? You hate that.
No, I
anyway.
do. But so your show on Long Island, what?
Show on Long Island was actually, it was fun. What I really liked about it was that the bar was attached to the venue, and there was only a curtain, and then they had big monitors so I could watch Maria's set during her set.
Oh.
And I could hear from the room. And so, because she's been working on this hour for like 8-9 months now, and it's coming together. So I said, I thought it was ready, and she's like, oh no. Then there was a long pause.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I was like,
it's so cool that you guys can both tour and work out like that. You know?
Yeah.
I really envy that.
it's a serious, like a treat for me to get to work on all
Right.
of. But what it doesn't, it's like, because I've had these five other weeks where I'm headlining,
Right.
which have allowed me to put all of that together.
Yes.
And get rid of some stuff. You know, the Delta Sky Club thing doesn't work.
What do you mean?
I told that story on this program, and it was very funny. As a joke, as a bit, like as a story in the middle of...
with the kid in the
Delta Sky Club with the 9 people and the 5 adults and the 4 kids. Yeah, it doesn't work as a bit because I end up sounding like a tool bag. And
Jackie, it's time for people to know who you really are. You are a tool bag.
The reveal. And so, because what I wanted to, sometimes when I do a joke, sometimes I want there to be a point. Like if especially if it's a story.
Right.
It's got to have a little bit of an arc. It's got a little bit of a button, and it doesn't have
a little bit of a bigger thing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the parable of the frog and the scorpion. Weird.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Sure. And then, but it should be. But there has to be something to it.
There's some reason you're telling it to people who've paid money to see.
Right. And if it's a 3-minute story, like the new bit that I'm working on tonight about my dad teaching the flirting thing.
I love that. That's great.
There's obviously, I think there's something there, and it's tightening up nicely. And people love a story about my dad too, which is always yes. And you know who else loves a story about my dad? My dad. He loves to be talked about, especially when he's the hero. And he's so when I was doing the long sets, it was interesting to see what does fit in all that and what doesn't. And there's just if it's story after story after story, it's too lully.
Yes,
it needs you 1,000 punchlines.
You have to. I think you have to do a story and then something with like short, sharp jokes.
Yeah.
Like for me, the menopause jokes, they're like three quick strikes.
Yeah.
And they offset like the length of a story like the Anne Frank thing or the YouTube thing. In a longer set, I try to be and then the circumcision stuff is like dick jokes. I just try to put them in the right place. In case some people aren't into stories,
right? And
some people are, and the ones that aren't, they need tighter.
Yeah, it's almost like a sound wave because
because
if you don't, you gotta have something for everybody.
Yeah,
Some
you
people
really
don't
do.
know what they came to see. And, so it's and some of the sexism stuff that I'm working on, I have been, most of the time, like I've found a way to sort of reach sort of the good dudes in the audience, the good guys in the audience, or the good part of the guys who may have some sort of trouble.
Guys that didn't mind the Gillette ad.
Yeah, I didn't mind that.
Right? Not that they loved it, they didn't mind it.
I'm a Gillette. I'm more of a shtick. But did you know this about razor blades, that women's razor
That
blades
was quite a pivot.
Well, it's what I found out is that women's razor blades cost more money than men's razor blades, the disposables.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because they're pink.
Yeah, that pink costs a lot.
Yeah, that kind of color. Blue, cheap. I've always just used whatever, because I don't have any hair. I'm almost completely hairless,
Jackie,
you guys.
what's happening? What's happening with this podcast? All of a sudden you're hairless and you
I'm hairless.
use Andy's grooming tools.
Look how close we are, you guys. So close.
What?
It's great. So we're going to Sketchfest next week.
Yeah, we'll
this
be in
week.
San Francisco.
It'll be this week.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing a show with Kevin Pollak and Andy Kindler.
Cool.
I'm doing another show with Andy Kindler and
Cool.
Amy Miller.
Yeah. Great.
And I'm doing Iron Comic. Have you ever done Iron Comic?
No.
It's like Iron Chef, which I
Yeah.
assume is like set list, except for that I think you have more time to write it.
Okay.
Where they just give you a topic and then you get an hour to write. 10
right.
10
Oh, I
minutes.
have done it. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
have you?
Mhm. Yeah.
I've never done it.
At the Virgil. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it'll be like, but I didn't hire me. So it's not like they haven't seen me before. I'm like, that's on you, man.
Here's what I'm doing a Butter Boy, which is
nice.
Saturday night.
I'm doing Butter Boy in New York next month.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this show with Liz Winstead that we both did last year. It's for abortion rights.
Yeah.
But it's just stand-up. It's not like...
No, it's just a benefit to some
but I'm
extent.
like, it's the same show, the same venue.
Oh, weird.
Do I have enough stuff in case people come back?
Right.
I don't know. And now
know.
I'm worried that I've read on Twitter that there's like this movement within the TSA to go on a general strike, which I support as a human, but as a person who has to fly tomorrow and next weekend, I'm like, hold off a little bit, please.
Oh, my gosh. So they go through my luggage.
Oh, yeah?
Because my backpack had the sound equipment and my enamel pins, and the TSA guy has to go through my backpack, but he refuses to. He doesn't look at me. He unzips it, does this, just pats it, and then goes, "That's probably fine." He literally said, "It's probably fine." And I didn't blame him in the least. And it turns out I am not a terrorist.
All right. Good night. Thank you. Oh, I did get it back. Thank you guys for coming to our podcast. The paper was returned to me. Keep our secret. And, that's it, right? All right. Bye. If you want to buy shit, we'll be back there. Or if you want us to sign stuff you already had that we weren't there for, we can do that too.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Listener supported.